Hi, Kevin Korenthal here, Executive Director and founder of the Forged by Fire Foundation. Forged by Fire is a 501c3 nonprofit which was started in 2013 to come alongside survivors of traumatic injury and debilitating disease to provide them with the mentorship, the supplies, and the resources necessary to have a more full recovery and a more active lifestyle going forward. One of the missions that Forged by Fire has taken on is to highlight inspiring stories of overcoming traumatic injury as well as debilitating disease. In pursuit of stories like that, I had a conversation a while back with my friend Christine Hermann, who's here with me today, about a book that she was writing. I was very excited to hear about it, and I kept updated on how she was going with that book and all of the trials and tribulations that go along with writing a tome. And that book has finally come to fruition. It's called Because It Didn't Kill Me. And I wanted to introduce today Christine Hermann and start out by asking you to tell us really briefly your story.
Well, this happened a little over 32 years ago, and I was out playing, and I was running, and I ran in the street. I saw the car before it hit me. This I don't remember. It was all told to me, but it hit me, and I went 46 feet through the air and came down on my forehead. What resulted was a very comatose individual, traumatic brain injury, and by the grace of God, I'm still here. But that was just the injury. Recovering from it proved to be most difficult.
Yeah, that's actually what I find most fascinating about your story is that many years went by between the time that you had the injury and you wrote the book. Can you tell us a little bit what kind of got you to the point where you were able to sit down and write this book?
Well, actually, I was attending a church called Horizon Christian Fellowship in San Diego, and there was a father whose daughter had been hit by a car, and it hit my heart, a lot. And I wanted to write a story and encourage the man. And from that day back in 1986, this book has been on my heart. And I had written children's stories because I like to write. And I had done a whole bunch of different writing projects, never published them. But when I was laid off my teaching job in South Central, and I was trying to survive and trying to make money to get another job, and I had a condo, and I got to the point where I applied for permanent disability. And for the second time, I was denied because I have a master's degree. And at that point, I lost it. I was frustrated. I started crying uncontrollably. My eyes were all red. My hands were clenched. I was shaking. And I said, Lord, what do you want me to do? And I started that story.
And it's this book.
I sat down and I wrote the accident because I was so frustrated that people do not understand what happens to an individual who suffers a traumatic brain injury. It's not just like breaking your arm and getting back up and going back to school. It affects your whole area of cognition, the way you process thoughts, ideas, when I wrote the book, how I organize things in the book, and the redundancies that are at the end of it are indicative of my thought processes. And the fact that I think clearly, but because I analyze so many things in life to figure them out, I approach things from different avenues, and I attempt to understand things from different approaches.
I think this is an incredible story. It really covers from day one of the accident happening and flies in and out of various parts of Christine's life so that you can kind of see how the results of a traumatic injury affect one's life going forward, not just in the years right after, but all the way through one's life. So, Christine, how can someone get a hold of this book right now, and what are the future prospects for publication?
Well, if you want to get the book, you can go to my blog, which is christinehermann.com. You can go to Amazon and get the book. The future prospects for this, we are now working with my formatter, and I are now working with this book to organize it in a way it can be put into bookstores, and it will be available to the public who say is in Barnes & Noble, a Christian bookstore, or even at college bookstores. I want to market this to colleges or even neuropsychological facilities. I want to market it to brain trauma centers because I want people to understand that just because somebody has recovered from a traumatic brain injury and they look normal on the outside, this is an invisible injury. People don't notice this. And also in here, it talks a little bit about my hearing loss, which I had since birth because of the difficulties I had at birth, and how that played an important role. Those two are both invisible injuries, and people don't realize that. When you look at me, I look completely normal, but my thought processes may not be. And just to let readers know, when they read this story, they'll see the first 13 years of my emotional development were wiped out. When my forehead hit the street, they were gone. And I didn't realize that for 32 years, that those 13 years were gone.
Well, I'd like to ask, everybody watching to go on to ChristineHermann.com or on Amazon.com. Look up Because It Didn't Kill Me. Make sure it's by Christine Hermann. Purchase a book. I'm positive that the proceeds of this will only help get this book in wider circulation into more hands. This is a great story that needs to be told, and I want to thank Christine for coming here today to my office to do a brief little interview. And the Forged by Fire Foundation is going to purchase a number of these books so that we can hand them out. And thanks again, Christine, for coming out.
Thank you.
All right.
I appreciate it.
All right.